Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Skyliners and Skywatchers. Welcome to the Vash Sky Parkcast 10K celebration. Oh my goodness gracious. I am so very, very excited to be on with you. And thank you so much for coming on in here and making this dream of mine a reality. First of all, I want to go ahead and thank each and every one of you out there for watching, for subscribing, for sharing the channel, for doing what you do, what you can to make this thing successful. Very much appreciate everything. The comments, the likes, the shares, everything. Thank you so much. That's first and foremost. And then, too, I want to go ahead and thank everybody who has shown up. And I understand there are some people that are going to be here in spirit. And they're like Lou Washman's Ghost, for example, which I guess he's always in spirit, technically, right there. But it's perfectly fine. It's okay if you cannot come on, but you know who you are. I want to go ahead and shout out to Player Place 28, for example. Like we were saying before, Lou Wasserman's Ghost, so phenomenal. I know Culture's on the road right now. I want to go ahead and thank him. Marvin, who just hosted an amazing TPP program. To everybody out there, thank you so much for being part of this really shared success, honestly. So absolutely fantastic. We've got a great panel lined up for you as everybody is coming on in here and looking to, be with you, obviously be with us. And so we're excited to go ahead and have them on. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and start off by welcoming on MJ, my producer, right, extraordinaire. And we can go ahead and get started with honoring all of you out there and getting that panel on. Please, MJ, what do you got for us?
We got a lot to celebrate. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. We came in really hot with Juliet, member for 3 months. Congrats on 19K, now to 20K. I think she maybe had a typo. I'm not sure.
I think 10K. I think up to 20K. Look, hey, I am extremely happy where we're at right here, and obviously we want to go ahead and go as far as we can. The sky's the limit, as I say. But
just like Moana, no telling how far I'll go. There we go.
True. That's true.
And then we got the Real Ventures for 5 smackaroonies. Congratulations on 10K subs, Vash.
Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that, Real Ventures. Saw you out there on X. Doing a phenomenal job out there. And thank you so much for coming on in and joining us for this program.
And we have Juliet, of course, as always, as lovely as she is and generous extremely with her time and her euros. So we got 2 euros, Evening Vash Sky Parkcast, Skyliners, and Sky Watchers. Thank you so much, Juliet.
Thank you. And, absolutely phenomenal. It's crazy. It's insane how much we've grown here. And it's really radical when you consider, I think Jared pointed out last night during theme parking right there. That's the simulcast that we do every single Tuesday thereabouts. We try to keep it on a consistent schedule, but we do that in association with OG55 and Capture the Magic. He was saying that, it's... it's in the single percentiles in terms of the amount of people who even get over 1,000. So get 10,000, it really is an accomplishment. That's why, did a little work on the intro right there in order to really showcase that phenomenal stuff. Thank you so much. And we got Lauren out there watching. That is fantastic. We got Going Shogi, which we might have a little bit more of Going Shogi as the show goes on. That's going to be pretty cool. But we've got some amazing friends who have decided to join us. MJ, let's go ahead and start welcoming them.
Bring them out. Yeah. We have the lovely and beautiful Vixen Sky.
Hello, Vash. Congratulations, 20K.
Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that, Vixen. Awesome to have you on. And a big part of, the reason why we have 10K. There's no question about that. We had a tremendous Vash and Vixen show this past Saturday. We always have it Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, for those who are Sky Watchers of the channel. And we were talking about the history of Space Mountain. Now, we're going to have a little bit more Space Mountain commentary, as one could probably expect, because, I haven't had my own take on it, at least, not publicly, and, at least not on the channel. I've said some things, but we're going to say more things. How about that? Vixen, thank you so much for joining us.
You always have something to say. So, especially about Space Mountain, right?
I try to. But I'm so glad that you're able to stop by and
I'm so
see
happy.
us.
I'm so happy for you, Vash. You've worked so hard and done so much, and it's a privilege to do the show with you on Saturdays. We'll see all the members at 3:00 Eastern, right, on Vash Sky Parkcast.
Oh, yes.
For the Vash and Vixen show.
Vash and Vixen show, and this Saturday, actually, we're going to be doing the, part 2 of Salute to America. We were supposed to get that, last week, but didn't quite work out, especially with that Space Mountain news. So we tried to switch up programming, but don't worry. We always go ahead and we try to abide by our commitments right there. But I will say, MJ, we have so many guests. We can't keep them waiting. Come on. Let's go ahead
bring
and
them
get
out. Bring them out. We have Ron from Follow the Bradley's Fun.
Hello.
Welcome in. Tom F., Bark Magnitude. And we have Erica from Erica and Raph.
Absolutely. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm really happy to see all of you and to showcase you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very much appreciate that. We can take a little bit of a sip there.
Cheers.
Cheers to 10K.
Congrats to 10K. Now double that tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't quite know about that. But hey, you know what? We'll try to double it as quickly as we can, I suppose. As long as you guys keep sharing us out.
Before.
Vixen,
I don't know about Christmas.
congratulations, Vash. I gotta say something. Vixen's avatar looks remarkably like my sister.
Really?
I have no idea how much you actually look like my sister, but your avatar looks almost identical to my sister.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Well, Vixen might be making an appearance, perhaps on her channel, sometime in the not so distant future, right there. So perhaps we'll leave it a mystery for now. Answers will be revealed soon, I'm sure.
That's right.
Very cool. We also have, I do believe, another super chat coming on in here with Texas 8412 right there. Oops, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I put it up. There you
Yep.
go. Congrats on 10K, Vash. It's all your fault. I can't.
You got to do it like Pro does it. Doggone it, Vash. Congrats on 10K. It's all your fault. That's the best I can do. I'm not like Pro, but that's the best I can do.
That's we'll take the best. That's for sure. No. Listen. When things go wrong, I usually try to put on myself right there. But in the case of success, not possibly all my fault right there. It's everybody's. So you're all at fault. How about that?
I'm used to getting blamed for stuff, so it's okay.
Erica, I try to. I mean, it
Dude,
is.
it shows. I mean, be proud of yourself. There's nothing wrong in giving yourself a pat on the back for hard work, and it's paying off.
I hope it's paying off. I really do. But man, it's crazy. It's been quite a bit to get to this point right here. I want to go ahead and thank each and every one of you once again. But we got to bring up some stories right here. We got to have something to talk about. And I definitely want to talk about this. I know, Erica and Ron, you guys may have talked about this before in that Park Place coverage, but it's worth bringing up again because, well, this is such an iconic ride. What am I talking about? Talking, of course, about Space Mountain. News of this came, I believe, Friday last week right there, with WWE Magic saying this: a massive rebuild of Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom could be on the way. Track, queue, and load stations are all expected to be replaced. A possible announcement could come at D23 in August of 2026. They elaborate with their article here, posted 5 days ago. Disney planning massive rebuild of Space Mountain at the Magic Kingdom. This by WWE Magic staff. Space Mountain may be next in line for a major refurbishment at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, according to WW Magic sources. The classic coaster is in the planning stages for a rebuild that touches nearly every aspect of the attraction, from the track to the queue. The scope being discussed goes well beyond a standard refresh. Sources describe it as an interior rebuild of the coaster itself, with a full track retrack similar to the recent work on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Changes to the queue area and loading stations are also part of the plan. Now, if you guys thought, well, simple retract, maybe it's not all that bad. But there are those out there who are saying much, much more. See right here, this is from the forums, I do believe, originating with WW Magic right here, with people saying it might have one track upon reopening. Double row seating like Disneyland, maybe Vekoma as the manufacturer. People mover closure, temporary of course, non-conservative budget, potential launch coaster, entirely new queue. Now, Jim Shull, he offered his 2 cents in this, saying Space Mountain's coaster is old and steel track has a end of life. A single track, 2 across seating, launch in a 300-foot diameter building with a new maintenance building attached is all possible, looking at D23 for news. So, I look at the original Space Mountain, and look, it's phenomenal. It's a fantastic coaster. There's no, there's no getting around that. But it was of its time, and really, it originated as kind of the East Coast version of the Matterhorn, which is why it's toboggan style, which is why there's 2 tracks in it, very similar to the Matterhorn bobsleds that currently exist at Disneyland. When it comes to coasters, right? Even in the Floridian market, how does Space Mountain hold up in today's coaster market when you have Cosmic Rewind and the next park over, when you have in the very park that it sits in, Tron Light Cycle Run, right next door? Okay, and then you have to think about Stardust Racers. You have to think about Velocicoaster, Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure at their main competition. There's new competition in the form of Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift over there at Universal Studios Florida. Even farther away, you have Iron Gwazi. In the Florida market, it is packed with top-of-the-line coasters. And so when I think about them spending a lot of money to redo this, kind of makes sense that they would, really go all out in terms of replacing this coaster. But what say you guys? I'm really curious to kind of hear your thoughts, and maybe I can go ahead and extend my thoughts as a result. Please go ahead.
I hate Space Mountain the way it is. This is actually something I've been personally calling for a long time. I was like, when they destroyed Rivers of America, I'm like, but Space Mountain, it's right there, and it's really old, and please replace it. and also, this is so different of an idea than replacing America's history, right? So, I know there's a poor track record right now with Imagineering, and that's the thing that worries me the most. However, I just, when I look at what Japan has or is getting for their Space Mountain versus our Space Mountain here, and I wasn't on it the other day, but yesterday I rode the train kind of under it and by it, and it just, the negative part of this for me is it's going to shut down the People Mover for a time. I don't know if the People Mover will even still go through it. If they, there's a real question of, do we actually have to tear this building down in order to make any of this work? Because how on God's green earth do you tear the coaster that's inside of it down, build a brand new coaster, and do all of that without changing the existing structure that's there? So I'm really, really wondering what this rebuild is going to be. I personally I feel like they could go all out, tear the building down. Yeah, you'd have to redo the whole People Mover experience through there and all of that. It's a lot of work that has to be done to make it work. But the way it is now, and I know some people love it. Some people love that just like 1970s rickety throwback kind of coaster feel to it. But it's one of those things that for me, as I get older, like I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've said for me, kind of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is my replacement space coaster adventure right now. Yes, and it's if they can make it a great space coaster, I could get on board.
Yeah, we're all hoping that this is a great space coaster at the end of whatever they have in mind here. I want to go ahead and go over a couple of things because I think that's really, really interesting. One, are they necessarily going to maintain the structure? Now, if you know the construction about this crazy thing, I think there's 72, 74 ton beams that make up the exterior cone of this structure right there, and it's all kind of on a concrete roof. So lots of infrastructure there. I don't think they sideline that. I think they actually work within the existing framework. And the reason why I say that is twofold. One, I don't know if there's enough land on the outer perimeter there, usable land that is, to create a new structure in a similar vein like Tokyo is currently experiencing right now. Tokyo with Space Mountain Earthrise, I guess, is going to be one of the most expensive rides that Disney's ever built. So is Disney necessarily in the market to replace a building like this? I don't think so. I think they're going to be working within this existing framework, and it's much bigger than what Tokyo actually had. This thing is 300 foot in diameter, 183 feet tall. It's massive. It's always been one of the biggest space mountains in existence, and part of that comes down to the two tracks they have, Alpha and Omega. Now, those are Aero era tracks, right? And I think they actually utilized some Aero designs there. I think fabrication was short scuff. At least that's the rumor out there. But besides that, I mean, it's definitely of that vintage, right? And look, it comes to a point, guys, that, well, when trying to maintain these classic attractions and the proprietors who built them, when they go out of business, like Aero has, by the way, Aero went out of business technically in the 1990s. They were picked up by SNS, yes. But even SNS is like, hey, look, listen, we're going to be maintaining our new rides, not necessarily old ones from a manufacturer that we acquired, right? So what is the incentive there to maintain an attraction like this? I mean, for a lot of theme park proprietors all over the country, they're replacing their Aero era attractions. And I think Space Mountain is going to be the next one, which is most unfortunate. But when it comes to new parts, right, you have to either fabricate them in-house or try to attain them in other places. And obviously that's costly in terms of both energy and resources, like money. So I think for the company's, financial outlook currently, it's kind of like, do we necessarily want to maintain an aging coaster, especially when we have so many coasters around us that make Space Mountain feel a little bit passé by comparison? I don't know. And so I think that's what they're looking into when it comes to the future of this coaster. But they could do launch. It's possible. But I do think they go with something a little bit more substantial, like maybe one step up from Disneyland's, right? Because Disneyland's has always had, dual seating there. And not the single file toboggan style that Matterhorn and Space Mountain of 75 currently has right now. And that allows them to not only have a more comfortable experience, but also too onboard audio. And I think onboard audio, it's kind of impossible to do with a toboggan style coaster versus with onboard audio being implemented in a more substantial configuration right there. Well, that allows you to have overlays that this, coaster has never really benefited from. They do play Christmas music with some fancy lights for Mickey's, very Merry Christmas party. But I'm talking like Hyperspace Mountain. I'm talking like Ghost Galaxies, like you currently find right now at Space Mountain at Disneyland. And Disneyland, I think that might be the rubric, right? That might be a showcase of what they might do. Maybe not all of it, but maybe some of it. I think they do like the idea of overlays for this coaster. If you remember, back in 2003, they had to completely replace the track for Disneyland Space Mountain, and they had to do it by opening a hole in the top there and actually like lifting out track pieces and putting them back in. It was a very costly operation. It was a lot of time. I think it took 2 years in order to perform, but that showed that they can do something like this. And I think that's where they're going ultimately. Erica, your thoughts on this? Because I know you know a little bit about coasters, a little bit about, attractions like this. What say you?
Just a little bit. To your point, Aero coasters, or Aero's been out since the 90s, bought up by SNS. And I think, with coasters, you have two separate camps of fans. You've got the ones that want the newest and the latest, and they want the best thrills, and they cling to that. And then you have other coaster fans that really lean into older coasters and into the nostalgia. But I feel like the latter is a smaller camp than the coaster enthusiasts. I really like to push the envelope on the newest and the latest. Like we have Stardust Racers at Epic Universe,
Right.
and it, and to Ron's point, Guardians of the Galaxy has really, it is the new Space Mountain. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I tend to agree now. And Space Mountain is very rough. I can't ride it anymore. It jerks me around too much, and I have
Sure.
to be careful with my spine. Um, so I'm looking forward to the refurb. But I am concerned about People Mover. That is a classic that goes back to Walt's legacy. I hope Disney doesn't do anything stupid like they have been. But I mean, the best predictor, future behavior is past behavior. I hate to say that. And then we have an immense distrust with Imagineering right now to really get anything right. And whatever they put there, I just hope it works, because I'm really sick and tired of attractions breaking down all the time and the cost
Yeah.
of getting into these parks and vacationing there. Like they really need to get it together. And right now the stakes are high. The investors are getting very impatient, and they're really turning on the heat on tomorrow to do whatever he's got to do to turn the ship around, because the stock is not looking well. So
no, it's absolutely right. There's no question about that, Erica. The stock isn't looking great, and I think the company, that this is why they placed a particular emphasis not just on investment, but of cost mitigation, right? For example, one of the big things about why they may have gone forward with something like Tiana's Inspired Adventure is, well, you don't have to maintain 150 or so audio animatronics on both coasts anymore. Now it's just a couple dozen, right?
They can't maintain a dozen.
That's true. They just don't maintain those things.
Any rumor of this becoming a Muppets Space Mountain?
Oh gosh, please no! Don't give me any ideas.
No, don't, Ron. Don't.
No.
I don't think they're going to actually do that. But I kind of want to talk about.
No, they'll turn it into a Monsters Inc. overlay of. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now.
Oh no!
2 monsters coasters, 2 monsters ones. No, but the other thing that
the People Mover will become a door mover.
Yeah, that's true. The code. Okay, so this is why I think the building remains and why I think the People Mover remains. It's because a lot of that stuff's kind of out of code. So this is why I think when you do a retrack, which they were thinking about doing back in 2008, I do believe, but put the brakes on it, because a lot of the stuff just doesn't. It's just not up to code anymore. When you have a new track installed, like Big Thunder, for example, right? We saw that envelope of protection test that was performed for that vintage coaster right there. Now, when you replace a track, you have to conduct that envelope protection test once again. And it just doesn't pass muster in a lot of places. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, well, this is like really expensive to maintain. We have to retrack it at some point, and now it's like, okay, well, maybe we can't in the way that it was originally envisioned, because literally it's just not grandfathered in. So I think that's also why they're kind of like, okay, this is going to be more substantial. This is bringing Space Mountain to the new century, maybe with launch, maybe with a Vekoma design track right there, which I think is a good bet, because Vekoma's historically done all the work for Disney, going back a couple decades now. So I think it's probably going to be appropriate. But I think that's also why they're looking at, okay, we're moving on, because I think it fits all those metrics right there. But Tom, I know you've been on this coaster.
Yeah, I haven't been in for a long time, but I've been on it. I'm wondering how much square footage they actually have inside that dome to actually recreate everything. And you said they went to the roof in the California one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's feasible in Florida.
Not in Florida. You're exactly right.
So did they, when they built this, did they put in back service ways? Because there's got to be a way to get in there service stuff if there was anything with the track. I'm just thinking engineering wise.
Yeah, so for Disneyland, they had to go in the dome there because it's just built differently. than the Magic Kingdom equivalent, and it's surrounded all sides. So that's kind of one of the reasons why they had to go through the top there. Also, too, it's sunk into the earth more versus Walt Disney World's is not, and it's accessible on multiple sides. So I don't think they're going to go through the roof like Disneyland, but I do think they're looking at like a Disneyland level replacement in terms of track and so forth, right? We can do a surgical approach and not discard the whole mountain like Tokyo has done. That's kind of what I was pointing out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they'll go in, deconstruct the whole thing. They already have plans maybe to what they're going to put it in there by that way, and not touch the people mover.
I see. That's the thing. I don't think they'll touch the people mover, and it's for the reasons of preserving code. Because if they touch it substantially,
they got to update it. They got to update the whole thing, and that's not going to happen.
And they just did that. They just replaced the sensors just not even 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I mean, if you were to touch any structural issues related to people mover, well, now it's like, okay, well, does people mover get seatbelts? Just, you know,
I could see them closing it, Vash, for a time being, and just because of the construction work that's going on in the building,
right?
Safety risks that way, but other than that, that's a big thing for them. The people mover is a big people eater. It gets a lot of people time to decompress and everything else. You got to think just think about it. I mean, how many people go on a,
if Vash, can they remove panels like let's say the backside of the Space Mountain here? Can they basically just remove two of the big wall panels to put construction
I think that's the way they go ultimately. Yeah, I think that's the way they go, is they go from the side instead of the top, right? And that really limits your use of cranes and precision and all of that. It makes it much more affordable to do something like this. And I think the people mover only is down for a period of time. I don't think it's gone the whole time during this whole thing. I do think they wall off sections of it and at least have the people mover pass through, maybe with some new audio saying, hey, coming attraction kind of thing. I think it's the way they ultimately do this. But here's the thing, these load stations that you're seeing right there, which were, they get big upgrades in 2009, I think those are gone too, because I don't think it's going to be dual track anymore. And the other thing about this too is it's not really guest accessible when it comes to, guests with disabilities. So for Disneyland, back in 2005, one of the big things that they did for Disneyland Space Mountain was they had a switch track actually added that allowed guests to board and deboard in their own area. That way they didn't have to work within that kind of 20-second dispatch framework that, well, even Disneyland's suffers from currently today. In this case, it's like, okay, you want to take your time getting on? No problem at all. And then when we're ready, we'll go ahead and switch you onto the track and we can dispatch you promptly. Magic Kingdom Space Mountain doesn't have any of that function. And I think the dispatch time is anywhere between 20 to 30 seconds before you actually get into the realm of Cascade, which used to be far more regular before that 2009 update. And then with new software improvements made in 2009, that happens less frequently. But you're right, Erica. The breakdowns are definitely a thing here. And that's why you only have the most experienced cast members, at least historically, work this attraction because the dispatches are so fast. So there you go. Oh, and Lou Westman's Ghost up here. Here's an idea. Can they move this load-unload areas out to where that long bridge is and thus give more room in the dome for the more ride? That's an interesting point. You could do that. You could relocate the queue load-unload to a different point, maybe closer within Magic Kingdom, and have you transported under the railroad tracks and into the dome. That is a possibility. Will the company do that? Probably not, but you could. That's the other thing too about Walt Disney World. It's outside of the berm, outside of the railroad track, versus Disneyland's was inside. So there you go.
I'm still trying to figure out how much square feet they actually have inside that building.
Yeah.
You could probably Google it. That might be public information.
Because it's a canonical structure in terms of interior cubic square footage.
Yeah,
it might be a little tricky right there. But I mean, I think it's like 2 acres or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they can build a lot of stuff with that. Even if they stripped every bit of that track out on the inside and left the outside part.
Yeah, I agree with you. MJ, we'll go ahead and hear your thoughts on the Vixen right after her. MJ, what do you think about all of this? And look, I'm a preservationist at heart, but at the same time, I recognize that this coaster, it hurts when you go on it, right?
As much as I would like to talk about Space Mountain and how it made my 2 Gen Alpha children cry for about 2 hours, we're going to go ahead and bring up some super chats. We have O2RR for $4.99. I am one with the Disney boycott, and the Disney boycott is with me. Also, congratulations on your 10.9K milestone. A group sip is in order. Cheers.
A group sip. It's very much in order. Here you go.
Another group
3,
sip. Another
2,
group sip. There you go.
1.
Thank you, O2RR.
Sorry,
And
I
then we
started
have Jim's Junk Retro. I like that. $2.
Ooh.
What exactly causes a steel track to degenerate?
Yeah, so a multifold question right there. Obviously, steel has a shelf life in and of itself. But for a coaster, with tubular steel track like this, what you're looking at, right? Over time, you have wear points, but you also have a slight misalignment that happens between, those 2 tubular steel portions of track right there. And so, in every single tubular steel coaster's life, it will get rougher, because even though you can see it, and even though you have computer precision, all kinds of stuff. And no matter what supports you actually have, there will be some misalignment there that will cause some roughness, and that's what you're really looking at. And so, over the course of 50 years, which this coaster celebrated its 50th anniversary last year, it's tough. And I know they had to profile the track a number of times actually before opening, because of how rough even back then that it was. And when you're in the dark right there, you can't necessarily brace yourself for those turns. So unlike the Matterhorn at Disneyland, which, by the way, suffers from all of these issues, if not more, you can at least brace yourself when it comes to curves. Here, you're really at the track's mercy and how smooth it is for a comfortable ride. So, good question.
And we have one more, and then we have a guest that I have to bring on, but we have the Wild Man of Yavin gifting 5 Vash Guy Parkcast memberships.
5
Thank you so
Vash
much.
Guy Parkcast for memberships. Thank you so much. So, Hambry Jeremiah right there, Humphrey Bear. Hey, good to see you. Floral from Under a Rock. Thank you so much for coming on in here, Floral. Thank you, Jay Cumberland and Cindy. Thank you so much. You are now all Sky Watchers yourself. That means you can join us on Saturdays for the Vash and Vixen program every single Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of amazing people that we have on this program, we're about to welcome another. Please go ahead, MJ.
We have Bob from Barry's Place 28.
Barry Place 28. What's going on
Hi,
there,
Bob.
sir? Absolutely. Great to actually have you in here, and welcome in on Bob. We're celebrating 10K, but we're also talking about some Space Mountain news. Well, perhaps news, if the rumors are true, which we think they are. Welcome on into the program, sir. What say you on this Space Mountain crazy space adventure right here? And do you have anything to share for us while you're on the show? If you can communicate, that is. Bob, are you there? Bob! We lost him in the void of space. No!
Bob.
Bob cannot hear us. He
Oh
is...
dear.
Earth
Paging
to
Mr.
Bob.
Morrow.
Uh-oh.
He's
Mr. Tom Morrow.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm here. I'm
but-
Tom. I'm here. It's Bob. I can't open the airlock, Bob. Please come in.
That's pretty good right there. All right, maybe Bob has his audio checked here. Bob, are you with us? At all? Bob!
Hello.
All right. Well, go ahead
Oh,
and
no.
message us, Bob, when you are ready to come on, and maybe when your audio has been restored. Bob's not the only guest we have on coming on, though, because somebody from a little place called Magic capturing.
The magic.
Yes, has decided to join us. Jared from Capture the Magic. Hello there, sir. Welcome on in. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about a little Space Mountain. How are you today, good sir? And what say you on this particular topic?
People coming in can't seem to be.
Are all of our guests having issues?
That's
Maybe it's
insane.
us. Could it be us?
Oh no.
I did hear him say he couldn't hear nothing.
All right,
Nope.
I figured it out. Sorry, I couldn't hear anything, and now I do. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to pop in here and have audio issues right off the rip.
That's no problem. It seems to be, I don't know, like a,
StreamYards.
gastrointestinal issues going on across the country in various places. It seems to be going around. So, Jared, what say you when it comes to Space Mountain and possibly redoing it right there? We talked a little bit before about it yesterday. I kind of want to hear your extended thoughts here. What you think about this? Because a lot of people are very kind of anxious about all this. Is there anything to be anxious about particularly? And what do you think is going to happen ultimately?
I think there's reasons to be anxious because given recent track record of kind of hit or miss things. The only thing I will say about this is the fact that this ride takes place in complete darkness probably means it's really hard to mess up considering where Space Mountain currently is in terms of a ride. So out of anything they could do, I suppose this one is the least amount of maybe damage they could do, because if you just simply updated some projections, had a smoother ride in here, and if it was the same concept, it'd be kind of hard to mess it up. But then again, it's always possible. So I don't know. I think given where this ride is, it is a very, very rough ride, like very rough. And especially with like Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy, all these new coasters that are really smooth, and even look at Universal with Hagrid's, like you can really see, especially with Tron right behind it, what 50 years of roller coaster technology can do. And
So
I think
true.
it really makes Space Mountain look worse. I think OG even brought up at some point it becomes bad show. And I would argue probably Space Mountain has been there for a bit, because the last time I rode it, it's been a few years. My daughter wanted to ride it, and it just, immediately have a headache and just your neck hurts because you also can't brace yourself in the dark. So like when you're going
Right.
thing, all of a sudden you're just like, wow, and you're just neck, you're cracking your neck. So
I'm always afraid my head, boom. 'Cause
oh
I'm
yeah,
so
and
tall.
that's the thing too. I'm tall, so when I see that thing in the lights, I'm just like, my head's gonna get hit on one of these things. But I feel like if they do, whatever you think about Big Thunder Mountain, I think it has its issues with its refurb, but it is a smoother ride. If you did nothing else but have that type of ride system in here with maybe some projections like you see in Cosmic Rewind, it would be a better ride than what we currently have, I suppose, at minimum. But I kind of think, we were talking about last night, I kind of think they revamp this whole thing and go for a completely different type of coaster than what's currently in there, if I were to guess.
I think they absolutely do. There's no way they bring out a toboggan style ride in 2026. I just don't think that's
And from a
that's really a
capacity
thing.
standpoint, you can, if you have 4 people that can fit in a single vehicle, you can get more people through it, things like that. I think that's probably one reason why they would do it. And I don't know, does any coaster manufacturer make a toboggan coaster anymore?
That's a good
They do make single file coasters. I think Intamin is currently working on one, and then obviously Rocky Mountain Construction has its what is it, Velocicoaster track or Velociraptor track right there. That is single file. So think Wonder Woman. If you've ever experienced that at any of the Six Flags parks, that would be something that you could use. I just don't think they do that, honestly, because there's a lot of issues that go along with that, and it's not necessarily as accommodating. I think they do go with something a little bit more substantial, ultimately, and just remove the 2-track design entirely, which is sad to see, kind of a vintage coaster like this go, but they do have their shelf life, and like you said, it's an entire building. They can fit all kinds of stuff in. Somebody actually, I think, Medical Breakdown coming on in here with the $2. Original build structure may not survive redo. That's an interesting idea as well. You might have some complications, some issues trying to actually retrofit this building right here. I don't think so. It's pretty well built. This thing is like an engineering marvel, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere. I think they can work within the confines. I think it's just 4 pillars that they kind of have to manage right there. I do think they're going in that direction, though, with it. And unlike like Matterhorn, for instance, right? So Matterhorn's track interacts with its substructure and thereabouts. That's something that they wanted to avoid with like Expedition Everest back in the day, and all of the future coasters after that. This, thankfully, does not interact with its building. It's kind of separate to it. So I do think it would survive, but it is a concern right there. Bob, are you with us now? Talk about Space Mountain and I don't know, maybe your adventures over there on Barry Place 28. Please go ahead. Come on in.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. And by the way, congratulations on 10,000 subs, Vash Sky. That's amazing.
Yes, I forgot to say congrats. Yeah, congrats, Vash.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jared.
I just got a brand new computer, and so apparently I didn't have the audio set up correctly for my AirPods, so that's why I was like, I'm having audio issues here, so I had to figure that out real quick.
I did too.
Thanks for waiting.
It's in the same club, Audio Issue Club. It's a fun club.
Oh,
I'm telling you, it's going around.
See, I don't like audio issues, but I love having new computers.
My computer updated from the stream last night till this morning because I got on here and I was like, oh, it did an update, and then sure enough, it automatically had all my audio settings as mute for whatever reason. I'm like, that's fun. I enjoy updates. It just resets everything.
Oh, my Windows update came in last night as well, and boy, oh boy, I just love those first updates, don't you? Go ahead, Bob, please.
One thing I was going to add before I forget, I don't want to cut Bob off. I was going to say, I that last super chat, it's a legitimate thing to wonder about because I had heard, I don't know if this is true, that one of the reasons the Stitch ride is still vacant is because of the building codes when that was built. And to go in there and update that, they would actually have to bring it up to the proper building codes. And I think structurally, that's all interconnected. So I think it actually would affect like potentially cosmic or what the quick service there. I always forget the name of it right there. Cosmic rays.
Cosmic rays. Yeah.
And I've heard that's the case. So I agree with you. I don't think that would be the case on Space Mountain, but I think on some of these older attractions and buildings, it's a legitimate thing that could be a reason and limits what they're able to do.
Well, I think this is why this didn't get a retrack back in 2008, right? I think that they were like, no, we're not going to touch this because it's going to require more substantial budget to get right. Please go ahead, Bob.
Anyone else find that completely ironic, being as this is all in Tomorrowland?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get Vixen's thoughts on this one because I think we were going to do hers after the super chats, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
That's a fair point. Bob, I'm sorry. You're going to have to wait just a little bit longer.
Oh, my, Bob. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
She was going to go. Vixen, please, because you have been waiting like 45 minutes. So I do apologize. Let's go ahead and incorporate your thoughts a little bit there. And Bob,
I have a question for you, Vash. I know on our show we talked about Space Mountain and also about the music that they use for Space Mountain and the story of Dick Dale. And I was wondering, do you think that they're going to go retro with the new cars and with the music?
Oh, that's interesting. They very well could, right? Kind of lean into that 70s era feel.
Yes.
But obviously with new track and maybe a new ride system and all of that, but with the stylings very much of that John Henshian type time period right there.
Yes.
That is a possibility.
I'm hoping for that. I think it would be really super cool to do that. And I think the Dick Dale music would be fantastic.
Oh, Dick Dale.
That they used before.
Bob, you remember Dick Dale, right? You remember that brief period of time. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Well, hey, not only that, but we had Eddie Sato on our show for the Park Streamers Hangout, and he actually talked about how he got. Yeah, it's amazing. He talked about how he got Dick Dale to do the music for Space Mountain. So if you guys haven't seen that, you need to go back and see our interview with Eddie Sato because it's amazing. But basically, did you guys already talk about that and how they got the music for Dick Dale?
We brought it up and talked about it at length on Vash and Vixen for the members of this channel right here, but we haven't brought it up on this program. Please, Bob, if you would be so kind as to
tell us the story, Bob.
I'm going to tell you the quick abbreviated version. So basically what happened was he originally wanted Dick Dale to play on top of the Matterhorn, and Disney would not go for it, and because they thought that would be a really cool promotional thing. And then they realized, hey, we could actually get him to do the music for Space Mountain, and instead have him play on top of Space Mountain. So basically, his partnership with Dick Dale, he was able to convince Dick to write the music for Space Mountain when they redid it. I think he gave a really cool retro vibe to it. I loved it. I grew up liking Dick Dale anyhow. I mean, my parents were all into Dick Dale and Jan and Dean and all those old surf stuff. And so for me, it was like, hey, this is awesome. But the cool thing is hearing Eddie talk about and how he was able to get everything completed. And Disney even had an issue with getting him on top of Space Mountain, but they were able to do it. And it was an amazing collaboration between the two of them and Disney. So I think it's awesome. If they continue to do that, that'd be great. But I don't know. I haven't heard a whole lot about the revamp for Walt Disney World. But one of the things that Jared was bringing up, and Cap, I think you're right about this, is that the buildings are all interconnected. One of the issues we have over at Disneyland is that the People Mover track is all interconnected with all the buildings over there. And that's kind of what we have over there in Walt Disney World. So one of the issues they've had is if they have to redo the People Mover over in Disneyland, and or they decide to redo Tomorrowland, they would probably have to demolish some of the buildings or maybe all the buildings and redo them because they're so interconnected. Because some buildings are newer than others. Exactly what Jared was saying. You might have to, redo a couple buildings, or you might have to tear all these things down just to revamp this one area. That's why I think they really need to redo Tomorrowland at Disneyland. They talked about this. My sources had said, hey, D23, for 2 years ago, in 2024, they were going to announce they're bringing the People Mover back, but it's not going to be the refurb everyone wants because it's going to be too crazy and too demanding for them to have to do that. And so they're going to do a washed down version of it. Well, of course, we never got that. They never announced it. They announced all these other things they were doing at DCA and whatnot. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe it comes back. My sources aren't giving me any information about D23 this year as far as Tomorrowland, but they're being very suspicious about their quietness about that. So it makes me wonder if they are going to announce a little something. But I think that they definitely would need to redo Tomorrowland. It would have to be a big overhaul for both Walt Disney World and Disneyland because of the way they have everything set up and how the buildings are interconnected and with People Mover.
That's a good point right there. Many great astute points. And I just love that soundtrack back then. Look, the Dick Dale Space Mountain soundtrack, and by the way, this is when it was retrofitted onto Space Mountain and before its big redo in 2005 for the 50th anniversary of the park, actually. It was a combination between Carnival of the Animals, which the aquarium segment there, Dick Dale, and Sci-Fi Movie Monster was kind of the inspiration for that. It sounds bizarre, but it strangely worked. I think I like it a little bit better than Michael Giacchino. Now, if Magic Kingdom was going that direction, phenomenal. I don't think so, though. We'll have to see. We'll have to see ultimately what they do. Okay, please.
I don't think they're going to do it either. I mean, look, they did it with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they were kind of experimenting that whole era, and it worked. It worked well, right? Rock and Space Mountain, and of course they had Around the World for California Screaming back in the day, and those were great. I'm glad they were experimenting and trying new things, and that obviously led into what we had for Dick Dale. But I don't think that they're going to go retro on that. And to be honest with you, I like the fact that there's two separate tracks at the Walt Disney World version, but yeah, the toboggan one is kind of like, it's kind of been there, done that. It almost needs to be a side-by-side. I prefer the side-by-side vehicles, just like, Splash Mountain and then now Tiana's over there. Walt Disney World's always had side-by-side. I wish we had that for, our, Tiana's and previous Splash Mountain, but, they try different things to see what works and what doesn't work. And what I liked about this is that they did something neat with two different tracks, and it was neat. It's novelty, but it's kind of a rough ride compared to our Space Mountain over here in California. However, I was really hoping back in 2005 when they redid Space Mountain in Disneyland, they would change the track and they would do something different. Maybe go a little more extreme and do something like they did in Paris where they go upside down. But of course, they didn't do that either. Oh, before I forget, because I haven't been with you guys in a while, but I just want to say hi to Vixen Sky, Erica, Tom, Ron. It's so great to be hanging out with you guys again. And Jared, nice to meet you, buddy.
Hi, Bob.
It's always a pleasure to have you on. And until we know what's going to happen,
remain seated, please. permanecer sentados, por favor.
That's a good point right there. It reminds me.
Oh man,
it reminds me of a couple
so relevant
things.
right now.
It's so.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
I'm standing up
now.
now
One of the
because of that.
don't stand. You gotta sit down. I can stand, but you gotta sit. No. Okay, so Tomorrowland. I think that's a really good discussion right there because that kind of gets us into all right. Well, Walt Disney World is currently getting its Tomorrowland piecemeal, right? We're getting a new Carousel of Progress. We just got a new Buzz Lightyear. Tron, obviously, some years ago, and now Space Mountain. Hopefully that means that something actually occupies the Stitch Great Escape building, and possibly, I don't know, with monsters coming in, do we get something in the form of that at Laugh Floor? It's going to be really interesting to kind of find all this out, but we know...
Cars. Tomorrowland Speedway is just so behind the times. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're updating the ones for Disneyland, and they have to do it by February of next year. So I have a feeling they're going to do Disneyland, and then they'll probably work on the Tomorrowland cars next at Walt Disney World if they feel the need to, or if they want to. I think it would be a good idea if they did.
Listen, I feel like a go-kart track is very Tomorrowland futuristic. I don't know why anybody would want to change that. I mean, you walk through the Magic Kingdom and it smells like you're in Branson, Missouri. I mean, it's kind of nostalgic.
Wow.
It's funny to me because it's the same technology that was used on the old antique cars at Six Flags. And so even though it's supposed to be the future, in just my mentality, because I grew up at Six Flags, it's the same technology. So my mentality when I walk by there is like, oh, it's cars from the past. It's antiques. It's weird.
The steering is kind of pointless on those things. So you just push the pedal down and go and just see what happens, really.
So
right. And
that describes everybody on Route 4 going to Disney World.
That's a great point right there. Do we anticipate that Tomorrowland Speedway is updated in the same way that Autopia is over at Disneyland? I don't think so, but it could be wrong. Metalcore Breakdown coming in here with another $1.99 boxy show building behind original at it's Disney Way. Yeah, exactly. That's... Well, like I said, I suppose it's a distinct possibility right there. I don't think they would do that, but hey, you know what? It did happen in Cosmic Rewind's case.
I was getting ready to say the Cosmic Rewind warehouse look could catch on, where they're just like, what if we just painted it to look like the sky? Nobody's going to see this giant monstrosity.
Right. Exactly. We've got Dan Peterson coming in here. Yep, said it last night. Autopia Electric Cars update should be getting a shout out at T23. They've teased it for a long time. Yeah, Vixen, actually, you were the one that said that they might actually bring out that prototype car.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Everyone who's going, let us know.
Absolutely.
I'm going. Are you guys? Anyone else going?
No.
Culture. I think Culture Casino is going to be there, Bob.
Yeah,
other than that,
I take bribes and plane tickets, Bob.
Duly noted.
Now,
all right.
Lou Washman's Ghost coming in here saying this. Let's also remember that when the original mountains were built, the standard for coasters were odd woodies and exterior loopers. Yeah, I mean, tubular steel roller coasters by the 1970s were becoming a little bit more prolific, but you're right? Wooden coaster is definitely the standard right there. And Matterhorn, first of its kind to ever feature a tubular steel track, not too dissimilar from Space Mountain in 75. Now, Bob, I want to go ahead and ask you right here. A lot of these issues do plague the Matterhorn at Disneyland. Do you think it's at all a possibility that a future decision is made regarding the fate of Disneyland's Matterhorn, especially because, well, it's I guess contemporary, and Space Mountain is maybe glowing away forever. Disneyland fans will know that phrase. Matterhorn suffers from almost the exact same problems, and I don't know if the situation there is as straightforward as Space Mountain. To me, it's like, hey, you know what? You got this big old structure, put a track in there. Not so much with Matterhorn. Please, your thoughts on all this?
Yeah. So, and just so you know, I kind of have a little bit of insight here because my one of my friends I went to high school with, his dad actually did the rock work and helped build Matterhorn and Big Thunder Mountain, things like that over at Disneyland. So structurally, it's not so bad for the rock work, but inside, yeah, it definitely needs to be redone. One of the reasons why they had to take out the Skyway is because those pylons were, created, and a lot of people don't realize this, but they had like 27. Oh geez, it's probably wood from about 27 different homes were created to, build those pylons for the Skyway. And so they were failing and not doing well. And so that's why they finally had to take it out. They wanted to keep them, but they just couldn't do it. And so I think with the Matterhorn, you have a few issues. One, it's the first tubular coaster, right? So to get rid of it or to replace it, the first by Aero Development, you get rid of that, and it's a historical ride. And so I think it would cause a lot of problems and issues. I think if they wanted to redo the whole building and redo the track again, which has already been done once, they could. And they could keep the track. It's a very rough ride. Obviously, it's a very old system. I just think that I think that Disney would get a lot of flack if they try to do something like that. Especially when you see roller coasters like, and I forget what is the roller coaster that Disney rode over in Europe that similar to the Matterhorn. And that's like 100 years old. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's a classic. They're never getting rid of that. I think because it's the first tubular roller coaster, we would have a lot of issues with them trying to replace or get rid of that mountain or do something different. So there's a lot of historical stuff behind it. I think they would have to do to try to revise that ride or attraction, but I don't think it's anything that's going away. It's the only one that's around in all the Disney parks. There's no other Matterhorn. This is it. And that's the one thing about Disneyland compared to the other parks like Walt Disney World or the other ones, is that you've got a lot of rides and attractions that have been there since opening day or that were the first of a kind, like Matterhorn. And so what do? Are you historically, going to keep all these, certain rides and attractions? Disney, obviously, I think when it comes to Disneyland, will take more care with Disneyland than they do with like Walt Disney World. They clearly showed that with Rivers of America, they'll do whatever they want, right? You think like Splash Mountain, they'll do what they want. They're not listening to the public at all and what the public really wants. So, but I think historically they're going to have a lot tougher time with taking care of some of these rides and attractions that are, have a lot of history or theme behind it. Like, again, this is the first tubular roller coaster. How do you get rid of that or change things? And so I think that's one of the reasons why when they redid the ride and they replaced the track originally, they kept everything the same because they historically didn't want to change anything. They wanted to keep it the same way. And
I want to go ahead and get into that a little bit because unlike Walt Disney World, right? So Walt Disney World in the last 10 years, this is what they've lost right here. Not even a comprehensive list, by the way. Significant portions of Disney Hollywood Studios. We've lost, obviously, the Great Movie Ride, Maelstrom, Interventions, Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, Stitch's Great Escape, Ellen's Energy Adventure, Splash Mountain, Country Bear Jamboree, Muppet Vision 3D, It's Tough to Be a Bug, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, significant portions of Disney's Animal Kingdom, including Dinosaur, Carousel of Progress, now Frontierland Shooting Arcade, Fort Langhorne, Liberty Bell, and of course Rivers of America. We've lost a lot at Walt Disney World, which usually doesn't really happen at Disneyland. And so I think like for Walt Disney Worlders, it's like we're losing yet another attraction. Like that's really, really hard. And I think if that list was even half as long, right? Maybe in fact people don't have as much hesitance when it comes to an original classic like this. So I think that's where a lot of the fervor is coming. Like, hey, stop touching my rides already. But these things move on. Versus Matterhorn, like you said, like there's so much that goes into that. You can't just retrofit this. It's either open or it's closed, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Something else I want to bring up, and this is kind of, a lot of people bring this up and they use this as an excuse all the time. And this kind of goes into the same category as the animatronic pirate that's over at Pirates of the Caribbean. But a lot of people go, well, Disney said that, Disneyland will never be completed as long as there's imagination left in the world, right? Okay, he did say that, right? But that's been used as an excuse for the destruction of a lot of classic work at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And it drives me nuts because if you go back to the e-ticket. The e-ticket was a little magazine that was created in the early 2000s. And if you go back to the 2004 one, there is an interview with Diane Disney. And she says, I use that too. It's sort of a message that he left behind, but he didn't mean to throw out the baby with the bathwater and get rid of the good stuff. There's a danger now at the park of losing the original philosophies. And that came from, Diane Disney. We need to make sure that we're careful about this. People just quickly go, oh, well, Disneyland's always going to change, so we can get rid of the Matterhorn. We can do this. No, that's not what Disney meant. He didn't mean it for us to destroy things and make these big, huge changes. And I get it. Things are going to change over time. But over at Disneyland, they're going to be a little bit more careful with some of these rides and attractions. Unfortunately, what we're finding with new Imagineers, because we don't have the Imagineers that we used to, that would follow the philosophies of, the 10 Commandments that Marty Sklar. I know. Marty Sklar, he created the 10 Commandments, right, for Disney and what they would do and how they should do it, and they're not following them. And here's another thing I want to bring up that kind of coincides with what I'm talking about here. And Let me bring it up because I actually had a little piece on it. Let me find it on my computer here. All right. So when Marty Sklar created the Mickey 10 Commandments, right? There are there's 10 total commandments. 6, 7, 8 are the ones that they seem to be not following the most, and it's really driving me nuts when it comes to Disney. And I really hope that the new Imagineers start following this, but unfortunately I don't think they're going to. But 6 is avoid overloaded and create avoid overload and create on turn-ons. So you want to resist the temptation to overload your audience with too much information and too many objects inside of a ride or attraction. Tell one story at a time. Stick to the story line. Good stories are clear, logical, and consistent. And 8 is avoid contradictions, mainly identity. Details on design or content that contradict one another, confuse an audience about your story or the time period in which it takes place, right? And we're finding this like the animatronic pirate. That all of those 6, 7, 8 rules because it doesn't, it broke the Dead Man Tell No Tale story. Well, if we continue to have Imagineers that don't follow the 10 Commandments and don't do these things, we're going to lose things like the Matterhorn. And I don't want to see that happen. And it's really kind of driving me nuts because I honestly feel they have their best interests at heart when it comes to doing these things. But at the same time, if they don't, do what the original Disney Imagineers were doing and following those footsteps, things are going to change wildly at the Disney parks in the next 20 years. And I think that a lot of us are going to be disappointed by some of the things that they do. And there's going to be some amazing things they do. I mean, we got a lot of things that are coming out, here in the next 20 years that are going to be just amazing. But I'm fearful that the new Imagineers are not going to follow in the footsteps of Walt or the of the 9 old men or whatnot. I'm worried about that, and I want Disney to be this amazing place that stays an amazing place. They want to change Walt Disney World and some of the other parks, fine, they can do that. But Disney never walked those parks, but Disney walked Disneyland, and if they change things there, I'm going to be really disheartened.
Well, I'm so glad you bring this up because I was actually going to talk about the pirate at Pirates of the Caribbean today because we had an amazing article from Drew Taylor of The Wrap actually sharing, his 2 cents here, but also, too, getting Imagineers, at least former Imagineers, on the record right here. Disney quietly gave the Pirates of the Caribbean ride a tech upgrade, and fans revolted. A bid to showcase new Epic Games fuel technology in an audio animatronic backfired. The future seems set whether guests like it or not. July 10th, 2026 by Drew Taylor, as mentioned previously. In the reasons and responses section is where it gets really interesting because, like you said, those 10 Commandments, they are important right there. There are those within Disney who are unhappy with the new pirate. That's something that people in the company are upset about. The powers that be were given options about where to put it, but the idea was that they would get publicity if they put it in the treasure scene, said one former Imagineer. Looking at Haunted Mansion, one more ghost is one more ghost. They wanted it there because it would be clicky. This is the social media side of Disney. Goes on, my point of view is that if you want to make things more technologically advanced, that's fine. But you don't choose an iconic moment. You don't choose something that is widely represented on merchandise to the point where it's a Christmas ornament coming out this year, said another former Imagineer. They need to establish a testing ground facility, even if it is in the parks, which I can only assume is why this was updated. Something coming down the line will all have these heads, but there was absolutely no need to do that figure in any way, in any world. Bob, Jared, they're changing something because they would get social media response because of that. That doesn't follow the 10 Commandments. That's their own commandments right there.
That's also
I don't know if they're necessarily good ones.
That's also not surprising that they would do it for social media. And I agree with Bob. I think that excuse about the parks are never done has been used as an excuse to change a lot of stuff. My whole thing has always been like, if you think about what Walt meant by that, you do think he would be okay with changes that made things worse or just the same? It's like, if it improves something, then okay, then that you can accept that. But now we're getting into this realm of, well, social media clicks and all this other stuff, this ancillary stuff that's really not about the guest experience. Like this one, clearly, we talked about it. This was a tech showcase. They wanted to show off this tech, and it wasn't really about improving pirates. And I think that's a very important factor in this. It's like, I'm not against technology, but it's like where you put these things, how it's perceived, which rides you do this on. And I just think and I think also this comes from the fact that when you had a brain drain of them getting rid of a lot of these experienced Imagineers, guess what you lose? Mentorship, which is something that is really important, especially like I come from a sports background. You bring in a whole bunch of young, really talented dudes onto a team, but they don't have a leader that's been experienced. Guess what? They're going to struggle because they may have talent. They don't have direction. They don't know how these things work. And so when you lose that, I think this is where Imagineering is now. And maybe they're trying to use AI to kind of make up that gap of having a knowledge base they can go back to. But it's really also, it's different from learning hands-on from a Tony Baxter, a Marty Sklar. Like these guys have so much knowledge that's just leaking out of them, just in everything they would say or do, that nothing will replicate that. And I think this is where we're starting to really see this show up with stuff like this. And then it becomes about social media and not about, again, like you were saying, Bob, those 10 commandments that should be followed on everything that they do.
Right. So one of the things, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but this got popped up on Instagram. I don't know if you guys have heard of the newsletter, The Wrap, but they actually talked about Disney quietly gave Pirates of the Caribbean ride a tech upgrade and fans revolted. And it talks about a bid to showcase new Epic Games fueled technology in an animatronic that backfired, but the future seems set on whether guests like it or not. So I know that Disney owns a huge portion of Epic Games now. And obviously they're trying to, chew as much as they can between the properties, and they're doing a great job of, putting stuff in there for the games. But if Epic Games has this new fuel technology and they were trying to do it in an animatronic, why wouldn't you try to do it in something new like the Coco ride or the new Avatar, ride that's supposed to be coming out, or something else that they're going to be doing here, at these Disney parks that they could show at D23, and instead of being like, you know what, we're just gonna, change something in Pirates of the Caribbean. You don't change a classic ride and destroy the storyline of Dead Men Tell No Tales so that you can put in a new animatronic. And I'm glad to hear in this article it does talk about how Disney, the people at the park were not real thrilled about this. It sounds like they were kind of voluntold that they had to do this. But to me, if you go back and you watch the video of, I think it's called This Is Imagineering, from Walt Disney on Imagineering on YouTube, you'll see in the very, very beginning, it talks about, how they made this, ride this animatronic pirate. And I just get the feeling that what they thought they were doing, they're like, hey, this is the same pirate you've known for the last 59 years. Well, no, it's not. The last one for the 59 years was someone holding, gems and jewels in its hand. And it was so greedy that, he passed away holding his treasure. This one is, he's got two, treasure chests. And one has, cursed gold, and he picks up the gold and it kills him. Then he drops it and then it brings him back to life. It's not the same pirate, and now you've broken the storyline because you already had a pirate that turns from a skeleton into a human, and then you go to the past to see what happened. So to me, it's like you're really just destroying that whole section. What they should do is they should just put the old skeleton back in there and forget this ever happened, and put this new animatronic technology in another rider attraction. That's what they need.
I'm so surprised that they would pick this moment in this ride to do this, because it doesn't fit at all. But as you just read right there from the wrap, clicky, it seems to be the way they're doing it. Even the LA Times actually had some not so great things to say about this. Ron, Tom, Erica, please come on.
I actually wrote a video. Sorry, Ron. I wrote a video, actually a song, and did a video about this. Yeah. And I usually don't blast Disney like that, but I did. So, I mean, I wrote songs about before, but this one really ticked me off. I think it was done for technology's sake, and it ruined a perfectly good scene. It doesn't flow. Matter of fact, the Cursed Treasure, that just doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't even follow their movies. So, yeah.
That's a good point right there. Go ahead, Ron.
I go back to the line in Jurassic Park where they were talking about how, but when Disneyland opened, if the ride broke down, the Pirates of the Caribbean, the pirates didn't eat the passengers. But if they keep up, with this kind of technology, maybe future pirates will attack the passengers. What the heck are they doing?
It's a good point. There are so many Jurassic Park quotes that can actually, do fit, like this one, for example.
You read what others had done, and you took the next step. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
That can apply
R.I.P.
so well.
Sam Neill, by the way. Right? Yeah, isn't that so true right there? Rest in peace, Sam Neill.
They do this kind of stuff. But if they were listening to fans at all, and this is it's going back to the list that you stated of everything that was taken away from Disney World while they're, doing this kind of thing, and they're not paying attention to that kind of thing. But yet they don't listen to fans, because there is one thing that could be missing from Disney World today that every fan would be happy about, and that's Mission Space. They don't update the things that people have asked for years to be changed or updated. So it's what's clear to me in this type of a decision in particular, that what they're doing now is so different. They used to very much respond to what the Disney guest wanted, but there is they probably are to some degree responding to what things like DVC members want in particular. But that's what I'm looking at now. It's like you have these type of weird Imagineering decisions, then you have the decisions to put bars in as many places as you can, DVCs in as many places as possible, even where places don't exist. And none of it is about overall enhancement of the average guest experience of the people that just come in. It goes back. I was in the room in Wilderness Lodge where it actually has a piece of, there's like preserved a piece of the train, the Lily Bell train that he had. Wasn't called that. It was at his house in the Los Angeles area. And it all goes back to that. What Walt wanted is, like, he was getting this joy from this model train that was big enough that he could ride on, and then expanded that to the idea of whole families having joy together. This piece of technology that they're putting in there, this is only about the people creating it. Like, they're doing it for themselves. It has nothing to do with
they're doing to sell it
and serving the fans. It's so the opposite of everything that Walt wanted, the antithesis of what Walt Disney wanted.
Well,
it's so true.
There's a fine line with some. You'll hear like really talented artists talk about, and there was an article talking about how a lot of Hollywood has become too reliant on these group surveys or group tests about movies, and sometimes they've even heard him quoted talking about how the fans don't necessarily know what they want, but if you are talented and you're able to really present something that maybe they're not asking for, but you're like, we're going to blow their minds of what you're able to do here, when it's in line with the story and not having these ulterior things, you can do really great things. Like, even if people weren't asking for it, they'd be like, wow, this is better than I thought. But that requires talented people who really understand what the purpose of an update is. Like, it's not to showcase tech just for the tech's sake, or, hey, we think this is a cool toy. Does it fit? Does it make it better? And if it doesn't, maybe it works like, Bob was saying on another ride. I think that whole technology could work great for like a melting face in Indiana Jones and other rides like that. There's ways in which you can use this, but Pirates on this scene, like there was easier places to try this tech out that would not have gotten the backlash that this got. And I think that's just very tone deaf to assume we're just going to go mess with this and no one's going to say anything. And I think they're just so disconnected from what people know and appreciate about the parks, and then they're almost operating on completely different realms when it comes to guests versus what they're developing sometimes for Imagineering, at least in my opinion.
Somebody who has said, I'm sure has a lot to say on this, and more so there, somebody who may have founded perhaps a theme park website, certainly a theme park inspired, certainly entertainment as well, a network. It is the one, the only WDW Pro. Hello there, Pro. Welcome on in here. Looking good, my friend.
Hello, Vash, and happy 10K. I got to say, when it comes to the Pirates thing, what confused me is I don't know how this tech is any different than things we've seen before. It's a backlit animatronic face. We've seen that happen. But this was presented as if it's, brand new technology, a brand new audio animatronic doing things we've never seen before. And I thought, the motions are fluid and all that sort of thing. But, you could transform Elsa's face on Frozen, the former Maelstrom. I mean, you could do that. I don't know that you would want to. We've seen her blue screen before. That's kind of a transformation. But I don't know why having an animation that switches the face to a skull backlit with a projector, I don't understand how that's new. And maybe somebody can, inform me as to what was new and exciting about this.
I think it's just because it's epic. It's the only thing. It was an epic game and they wanted to use it.
If you go back to the video they created for This Is Imagineering, I don't think it was backlit. I think it's actually projected onto the face, if you see from the video. And
it's
also
front projected, you mean?
It's front projected, so the idea being that you can actually maintain fidelity with a moving object, something that we're never able to accomplish previously. So instead of having internal projectors, this is exterior, which allows for, by the way, hey, you can go ahead and project onto a detailed figure, make them cry or something, or hey, Indiana Jones face melting off. That would be kind of cool. That's not how they showcase it
help me understand that, because If I've got a projector that's behind the animatronic mask, however far it needs to be back, however it needs to be avoiding the inner workings, that projector moves along with the head. Versus if I'm front projected, I have to hide the projector behind a facade, and then I have to direct that down onto a moving object. I don't understand how that's advantageous.
Well, so what they're doing. Oh, go ahead,
please. Well, in short. The way they kind of highlighted it was this allows them to add effects externally to an already existing figure. Now, the way they're doing it here, is just a completely projected face. So we really don't see the benefit necessarily of that. It's not even like that great of a tech showcase, because it looks like the Elsa figures. It's like, okay, whatever. But I do believe I'm right, Bob, and maybe you can correct me. The idea is, okay, well, we can take a face already existing, and then as it moves, as it does its thing, right, now we can add like a tier to Lincoln, for example. That I think is where they eventually want to get to with this, right?
And I'll just tell you that, guys, this is, you give the explanation. To me, they've done things before that are far more amazing, like with Beauty and the Beast, that ride where Beast transforms. Yes. So this to me was like, I think we've kind of seen this before, but anyway, maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're exactly right. And that's what a lot of the Imagineers were actually saying, at least those that spoke to the rap. It's like, we just got rid of this technology in Maelstrom. Go ahead, Bob.
Right. Well, I think that's the problem. That's one of the things I have with, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blaster too. You've got that projection inside the face and it fades over time. It doesn't look very good. And so they're like, okay, we got another technology where one, we can do the projector on the outside. There's actually a bar. So right where his headband is, there's actually it's almost like a QR code, a long QR code. And the projector follows that QR code and on the animatronic, which is kind of
clever.
So,
okay, no, I'm with you. That's like a Kinect style technology. They're using infrared to follow that?
Yep, they are.
Okay.
And so basically what happens is they follow the animatronic and then they can do like what Vash is saying, they can do anything they want. It does look better than, the projection from inside the face. But to me, I felt the same way. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's now being mapped onto it because I do projection mapping for Halloween decorations for certain things. And I do the same thing. I mold something and then I project onto that mold. It looks so much better than it's, coming from behind. But at the same time, a lot of these things, I get it. It's following the animatronic, but it wasn't a big deal to me. And like I was saying earlier, why not showcase it on Coco or some other ride that they're going to come out with, where they could really showcase it there and not on something classic like this that breaks a storyline. I just don't think they need to do it for this. And again, like we were just talking about from that article from the Wrap, this was all because of a Epic Games fueled technology that they wanted to put in an animatronic that has backfired on them. I mean,
I don't know how it worked.
Hopefully they learned from this, but
what I'm interested in now is seeing the video of the pirate because there is a disadvantage to doing this. So if what it's doing is tracking the red headband, if there's some sort of infrared QR code or some sort of symbol that the camera picks on and it follows that with the projector, the only problem would be there unless you have an extremely complicated, which I don't think they wouldn't do, an extremely complicated arm or swivel that the camera sits on so that it can rotate. The problem is that if you do this way, you can't rotate the head because the projector can't follow the head. And so then you're going to be locked into a horizontal space. So that would be a limitation.
That's what I was going to ask was how does this work? It's all motion like censored. And I mean,
I thought I remember reading
a couple I have the link that I can send to you guys, and I'll put it in the private chat, and we can put it in the normal chat if you guys want.
So this is moving on not on an X and Y axis. It's got an additional. So you've got the swivel happening. So somewhere then the projector is either dynamically adjusting to that rotation, or the projector itself is on on an arm or on it's on a 180 swivel that allows it to follow along. But if we look at that doesn't rotate, so that would solve that problem. That's a very complicated problem.
It's an assemblage of 3 projectors, from what I understand.
Oh, good grief. Let's just make it as complicated as possible.
So there you go.
Well, I agree with you, Vash. I think this was a tech expo for the Abu Dhabi park. I think that's why they put it on Pirates.
Yeah.
They were going to get this big press, all these people into it.
That
They thought this was going to be like, oh, man, look how cool this tech is. And they always underestimate, like, I think many times, and I've talked about it before, Hollywood looks at a fervent fan base and gets really antagonistic about it. And so they're probably frustrated that the fans don't realize how cool this is, but they also don't understand, like Bob was saying, like, if you put this on any other ride, well, not any other, but a less classic attraction, you could still display it and people really wouldn't care as much. It's just where you put it, how it breaks the story. And again, it's like, you're right. They just replaced the Frozen animatronics with actual animatronics to get rid of this tech. And now we're seemingly going 180 back to it. And it might be better tech. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but it's still, people have seen this before. But I think this was for Abu Dhabi, if I were to.
Sometimes what happens is you get very excited about some development you made, and you don't realize that pragmatically, it's still all about the story. And so the way the audience receives this, I mean, you can have however complicated the mechanics are to create it. The audience still sees a face that turns into a skull, and it still is about the cohesive presentation that's given to the folks on the ride. And that's ultimately what it comes down to is, how do I feel? What does my child see? What is the magic that's being made here? That's ultimately, because very simple things can sometimes do a similar function. And typically what you want to do is go with the most simple thing you possibly can that has also the most redundancy so that you don't have downtime or that unfortunate scrim that has to drop in.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Pro. We know that your time is precious, and Would you like to tell the people out there where they can find you? Because I don't know if they can find you on this big, bright, beautiful web that we have.
Yeah, so I can't stay long. I came out of one meeting. I've got to go to another, but I don't want to actually send people to my channel or anything. I just want to say congratulations on 10K Vash. I think you're doing an amazing job. Your trajectory is incredible. And so keep going, Vash. Keep going, keep going. And I hope everybody out there who has not yet clicked that button will be convinced to hit subscribe. Way to go,
we didn't
Vash.
click it and sip it with Pro. I forgot to do that. Gosh darn.
All right.
Bye, Pro.
Next
Nice to see
time.
you.
Bye, everyone. And
Looking good.
huge,
See you later, bro.
huge congratulations, everybody, but especially that guy. Not you, Bob. Bob, you're a lovely guy. But Vash, way to go, Vash.
Thank you, Pro. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. Pro was kind enough to step in. I know everybody's moving to what is it, South Carolina, obviously, for Sega, I do believe. The
Southeast Game Convention.
Southeast Game
Convention. So a lot of people are in transit right now. So thank you to everybody who can make it in even for a brief period of time, whether it's in the chat or on the show. Awesome stuff right there. But no, I mean it's like I don't think there's as many upside to this technology as Imagineering would have you believe. Now, Erica, I think you were going to say something real fast, and I do apologize. I want to go ahead and include you in the conversation. Please, go ahead.
I know I had heard it was a front projection and was just kind of curious. I guess it was using like a motion sensor technology. So as the head moves, the projector moves with it. I just found that kind of interesting. They would go that route versus a projector installed in the head. But then I understand that hasn't quite worked favorably either.
And it's really interesting about it too, because Vixen, I think you were the first to bring it up. Even though the head actually changes, in order to showcase that, he's touched a coin, and obviously he's turned to a skeleton or whatever. The hand, nothing happens there. So it's like, in terms of a tech showcase, there are multiple problems from this, right?
Yeah, the hand stays the same. I have a cute little story to tell about Walt in this ride. When they were building the ride and it was just dirt and they hadn't put the water in yet, he took Lillian, his wife, to see it. And he made sure that they put down wood planks so Lillian wouldn't get her shoes all dirty and muddy and everything. And I read a book that I had the story in it, and she said that she felt so cherished by that action that he did. I think it just tells a lot about Walt. And this ride is so beloved, and the skeleton character is so loved by so many people. For me, it just kind of is a shame that they did this. I wish they'd bring back the original.
I know. It's just so tragic.
How high do you think this moves up? Because obviously Damara was very involved in the Epic Games, collaboration and being part of that.
Yes.
This to me seems like something that came from high up that was said, we're going to showcase this. And there's a lot of rumors out there about Disney even investing even more, maybe buying Epic Games. This seems to me not something really organic that Imagineering was just like, hey, let's play with this tech. It seemed more or less, hey, here's this tech, use it because we want to, maybe it's for Abu Dhabi, maybe it's just to showcase it. This to me seems like how you would get this situation to happen, where it's kind of more or less forced upon Imagineering on some level, and then you force it into a ride that it doesn't make any sense, at least in my mind.
Right. So this is a really interesting question, right? Because apparently there was a war going on in Imagineering whether or not they should do this or not do this. So obviously there were people very conflicted about this. I would think this is Bruce Vaughn for sure. I don't know if it's necessarily going up to Josh, but Bruce Vaughn, absolutely big part of this. There's no question about that. And because it does have to deal with Epic Games, you would think that it would be at least on Josh's desk, at least in some degree right there. Or maybe he was the ultimate decision maker and said, you know what, Imagineers, I get you, I got you, but we got shareholders to showcase. So there you go, Epic Games. We get their little showcase there. It could very well be that. I'm not quite sure, but certainly this went up because if Imagineers are having problems with it internally, somebody had to be the deciding force on this, and management got their way. Long Rua, though, he's coming on in here, getting his way with 50,000 Vietnamese dong. Thank you so much for that. The Kingdom Hearts panel at D23 reminds me, had Tom Sawyer being replaced with Destiny Island, people would have been more willing to give it a chance. That's an interesting point right there. Yeah, there could have been so many different things that they could have done to preserve Rivers of America. I would have hoped that they would have at least gone forward to showcase those ideas. But, you know, it wasn't just about maintaining Rivers of America. It was about maintaining the Liberty Bell and the river itself and all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, you know what? ROI, not ROA, ROI, we can get more by just filling it with attractions. And that's what they're going to do. Long Row coming in here with another 50,000 feet Navy's Dawn. We must keep moving forward. Idea has never sat right with me. Tokyo Pirates had barely changed since '83, and people considered it to be the best one. It's a fair point right there. Tokyo has not changed their attractions at all. Country Bridge Jamboree is still the same way it has been, and I think they still do the overlays, which is very interesting. They haven't changed Pirates of the Caribbean at all. Not going to change Splash. So, you know, I understand some of these things, they do kind of, you know, change a little bit as time goes on, but there's something about preservation. People wanting to like take their families back to experience it with their kids kind of thing, that is valuable as well. And you would hope that they would, you know, be a little bit more knowledgeable of that, especially when you look at that long list of attractions that we've lost recently. We have somebody coming on in here, and let me just see who that is. Oh, yes, the man of the hour, for sure. Before we get to our next guest right here, does anybody have anything more to say about the topics we've discussed here before moving on? I want to go ahead and give this gentleman all the runway that he has to work with, because he's been working super hard in the background to deliver us something really, truly special for this 10K celebration show. Anyone, please. The floor is yours.
I will just say this. I think it is a very interesting dynamic of current Imagineering with the parks, and obviously with all these projects going on. These smaller things I've talked about before, these like the animation studio, a lot of Hollywood studios, some of these refurbs. I think part of the reason they're doing it is they're trying to rehab the image of Imagineering. So it's almost like you have a couple of wins. Like I would say for the most part, some of this stuff's gone over better than people expected. But then you have something like this, and it's like it just kind of drains some of the confidence, because then you start questioning, like, well, do you really understand? Like you were saying, the reason they're doing this stuff in the parks is they're looking to, quote, optimize the parks, which to them means monetizing the attractions. And the rivers was not monetizable, so they were like, hey, we're going to put stuff in there that does that. And so is it about giving you better experiences, or is it actually just about selling more lightning lanes? I think we probably know what the major, you know, motivation is on this stuff. And, you know, it kind of leaves you just a little bit like time is going to tell on this. But I think the mindset is very interesting within Imagineering right now. And do they understand? I think they understand they need to rehab the image, because I think this is why you're seeing so much effort put into stuff on Disney Plus and really showcasing Imagineering. And things like this, I think when you don't respect the classics, it doesn't give you a lot of hope that you're going to develop new classics. And I think that might be a you know, it might be a detail, it might be nitpicky, but I think it's important when you're looking at the parks and the history with them. And the Jeff Goldblum quote is great, because it's just like you stood on the giant, or the shoulders of giants. And you know, we'll see how this stuff turns out, but I have a lot of questions around the current crop, and really, do they understand the history and really the responsibility that comes with the thing, that any changes they make. And I just don't think that they quite do, which may just be something that happens as time goes on too. The longer we get from Walt, the harder it is to maintain that connection and that same mindset, really.
It's so true. There's no question about that. There's so many applicable quotes from Jurassic Park right there. That's why we have them on the channel. But hey, we'll go ahead and showcase a couple of the clips that we have right now that might be applicable in this situation.
We can charge anything we want.
This park was not built to cater only for the super rich.
What, we'll have a coupon day or something.
Time to be turning around. If only you could.
Reducing costs is not necessarily one's favorite thing to do in running a company. It is a necessary thing to do often.
Oh, I love that dear old Bob right there.
That
But
guy got eaten by a dinosaur later in the movie.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. The blood sucking lawyer.
Can I
But
bring up one little point? Sorry. Oh,
sure, go ahead, Bob.
No, you're talking about Ron. Go ahead and with Ron.
No. I please go ahead and we want to go ahead and highlight you, Bob. I know you shared. A link earlier. By the way, we went ahead and moved that in the chat. And Ron, do you have to go to step out for your presentation right there?
Yeah, I gotta get things set up for the dish in a little bit.
You got it. No problem at all. Please, what is going on in the dish? What can viewers expect before being redirected to your lovely stream?
Well, we talk a lot about parks here. Today we're at the dish. We're talking a little bit more about movies, what's been going on at the box office, and how it's really not about superhero fatigue, because there are two movies out. Well, one movie out and one movie coming that kind of prove it's not about superhero fatigue at all. You've got Supergirl who failing miserably, while Spider-Man No Way Home, or not No Way Home, it's Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Pre-sales have outsold the entire box office for Supergirl. So we're going to take a look at that and what the heck's really going on and what people want.
Absolutely. Fantastic stuff. Can't wait to see you, Ron. And thank you so much for coming on our 10K celebration. Hopefully this was
congratulations.
Right there.
Well deserved. I can't wait until 2 weeks from now when we're doing your 20K celebration. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Great to see everybody. Look like Vixen and Vash and Tom and Jared and Erica and Bob and MJ and Shogi. And of course, Pro is here as well. So thank you, everybody.
Great to see you, Ron.
You as well. I want to say sis, because when I see the picture, it's just way too much just like my sisters.
Tell your sister I said hello.
I will do that. All right. Later, guys.
Bye,
Thanks so much.
Bye,
much
Ron.
You,
Have a great show.
Before getting to go and Shogun is lovely, amazing thing that he's prepared all for us right here. Bob, please go ahead and add any remaining thoughts you may have. I know you've been trying to include a couple of things for us, and unfortunately, with so many people here, so many voices, please go ahead.
No worries. So one of the things I do want to bring up, with Josh Tomorrow becoming the new CEO, and I know he's been in the position for a few months, but when you think about things like the animatronic pirate, unfortunately, he's going to probably get some flack for it, even though he probably really didn't have much to do with it, because this has been in the process for quite a while. And if you guys remember, one of the things that drove me nuts is when Bob Iger stepped down and we had the other Bob come in. He got a flack for doing a lot of things which actually Bob Iger had put in place before he took over. And so it was almost like they made, Bob the fall guy so that Bob Iger could come back and take over. And I kind of feel like there's a lot of things that Bob Iger has put in place or has done that we're going to be seeing over the next several months into the next year that Josh is going to get blamed for, that he had nothing to do with or had nothing to do. So it drives me nuts, because I think he's getting a little bit of flack now for some things, and he's trying to do his best. I think that, he's made some good changes so far. I'm hoping that there's going to be some more great changes coming out. Obviously, we got, done with that whole park hopper thing. They brought back that, evening ticket, which is great, that they've already sold out of. So hopefully we'll continue to see things like this. I really hope that he gets things back on track. Is he going to make mistakes? Of course, all the CEOs, do some things that people like and dislike. But I'm really hoping that people give him the opportunity, because he's only been in that position for a few months. And I'm really hoping that he goes back to the days of Michael Eisner. And not that Eisner did everything great, but, back to the days where we weren't all IP, which is Bob Iger's thing. He wants to do everything IP and a little more originality. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm hoping for it too. We'll see. The jury's still out on Josh Giamaro right there. And you're right, the film slate, right? It takes about 2 to 3 years before whatever the previous CEO worked on, before new content starts coming around. So it takes a little while. In fact, Bob Chapek never even got to see that come around, which is very interesting right there. But So Levy, I'm hoping Dana Walden and Josh Giamaro, they turn the ship around here, but I'm not entirely fully optimistic. But I am optimistic for somebody on the panel right here. Going Shogi right here. Fantastic.
Hi, going Shogi.
10K.
Hello.
$10. Thank you so much, Shogi, for that awesome stuff. Now, Shogi, you have something to show us when it comes to your amazing culinary skills right here. We're starting a program on Vash Sky Parkcast called Meal of the Month. And Meal of the Month is going to be every third Wednesday of every single month. That way we can feature a meal highlighted by you right here. I think this one actually has a lot to do with Pirates of the Caribbean. Very apropos, very fitting. Please go ahead, sir. What do you have for us?
So I wanted to bring you guys, I thought for the first meal of the month, what would be more fitting than one of the most classic attractions. And so I wanted to bring you guys something inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean. A little bit of Caribbean flavor and a little bit of just some fun in the general narrative sense of what the ride is.
Yes. And Pirates of the Caribbean to me is like one of my very, very favorite attractions. I love Pirates of the Caribbean so much. It is awesome, and that's why we were very displeased with some of the changes that they have made recently right here.
Yes.
But you've got something I think that can lift our spirits here. Now, I
hope
think
so.
do you have images or video of what you prepared for us today?
I have some images that I forwarded. I didn't get a chance to take any video because I'm still learning how to do all of that. But I will progress and I will get better at that so that I can bring you higher quality and higher standards to a show of this.
Stop it! It's just a ragtag operation right here. Nothing too crazy. Where did you actually place those images? So I can go ahead and feature them on the screen. Maybe while
I sent you in the back chat it's in your XDM to make it easier to bring one by one.
Gotcha.
And the list. Yeah, I did that actually earlier this morning, but you've been a very busy man.
I've been a very busy boy right there, so I do apologize right there. Let's go ahead and start bringing these on. Forgive me in my tardiness here, and I do believe, do we have a guest back there? Okay, gotcha. All right, we are bringing these up right now, guys. I do apologize. Please go ahead, start breaking it down here for us, going Shogi, of what we can actually see, what's on offer right here. I do believe... I'm bringing up the right photo here. I'll switch to it. You tell me whether or not this is correct. Is this
that
correct?
one is correct? Yeah, that's the one to start with. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I wanted to follow the narrative a little bit, even though this isn't Caribbean, this is Pirates of the Caribbean. So I wanted to start with a little bit of like the Blue Bayou. So this is Monte Cristo dippers. So these are your classic Monte Cristo, but I cut them into little fingers and bite-sized pieces with some fresh raspberry jam so that everybody can have a little bite, but you don't necessarily have to have the whole sandwich to get the flavor of the Blue Bayou.
Dude, that's awesome. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that would be a good spot to kind of start the narrative of this little story.
I'm already hungry.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Frowned upon eat all of it though. I mean, I know you said one, but I'm just, I'm thinking, can you eat the whole thing and no judgments because it looks really good?
Yeah.
No judgments. We went to town on all these courses. My family was very happy with everything that I was presenting with them.
This is fantastic. One of the problems with the Blue Bayou is, like, you're right? Like, you get, Monte Cristo sandwich, which they've made very much smaller in recent years. But it's, it's basically a fried sandwich cut in half. There's really no way to share that. I love this idea. I think that's great.
Yeah, and even though, like, it is getting relatively smaller, it is still filling because it is still a fried turkey and ham sandwich. It is heavy. Yeah, it's very heavy.
It's heavy. So getting a little taste, I love this idea.
It looks delicious.
Thank you very much.
I think this is just the appetizer, right, Shogi?
This is more of like a 5-course tasting that could be shared or not shared depending on one's appetite. But I wanted to present a different variety of courses inspired by this attraction as opposed to just one or two things. I wanted to try to bring a little bit of a story to it as well, kind of follow the ride along as well.
I love this. I love this. This is fantastic. Now we have another item right here. I'm trying to see which one of these is the salad.
It's the one with it should have mango on it. Is the second one.
Mango. Okay. It kind of looks like a dessert to me, but I think this is.
Oh no, that one's the last one. That's the last one.
No, that's a dessert. Okay, that's what I thought.
Start with dessert.
That's what I thought right there.
I have a problem with that.
You can never start too early. There is a little bit of a video that goes with this one too.
No, is there? Okay. All right. Got a little bit of help with that one. Okay. Now, oh man, I don't know if I have the salad in these resources right here. I think I have.
This is what's on screen. This is the dessert. This is a Barbosa's apple tart tatin. And so I wanted to also give something for the people who may not be too familiar with the ride, but they are familiar with the movie. And there's a very iconic scene where he eats an apple. And so I wanted to provide a dessert that was kind of inspired by that. Very classic French, since a lot of the Caribbean is very heavily French inspired. I wanted to do a tart tatin, and if you have the video, I also soaked it in rum and set it on fire because of the burning city.
What?
Wait. Me being a rum connoisseur, man?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you can't have no rum. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean. Where's the rum? It's all in the apple tart.
It's in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, all right. I think I do have the video right here.
Now my mouth is watering.
Wow.
Here, my sister helped me out. It's very little, but I think you can see a little bit of the flame there.
Yeah. Bring on the pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, if you like to have your dessert before your meal, well, I think
but this is a
fantastic order.
Very classic tart tatin, a brown sugar caramel. I put some Granny Smith apples that I've cored and peeled in that, and I really reduced them down and cooked them so that their juices could really marinate with the butter and the caramel. And then you top it with some puff pastry, and then you brown it in the oven until it's golden. And so you get like a nice little sticky apple treat on the top and a little bit of crispy puff pastry at the bottom. And the classics are a classic for a reason. You gotta love them.
Fantastic. I love this. This is outrageous. Fantastic stuff. Now we have the salad here.
So
right?
this one, yeah. So following the Blue Bayou, once you go down the drops, you end up looking at an island where there's a crab staring at a skeleton, as well as in the treasure room. So the crab salad is to represent the first island that you see, and the crab is essentially the first character that you see. And then the mango is to represent the gold and the treasure room. And then I also added a little bit of fresh radish for some crunch, and also to kind of provide the illusion of gems.
I love this. This is fantastic. It's so thoughtful. There's so much story here. It's actually what Disney of Culinary Past used to do a little bit more than they do now. I think this is absolutely a dish should be a Blue Bayou. This is fantastic.
And I tried to keep everything very simple. I was taught, like, don't try to overcomplicate it as best you can. So this is just some lump crab seasoned with some lime juice, some olive oil, and some chives. And then I seasoned the mango. We call it mango tartare because we diced it into tartare little cubes, and we seasoned that also with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and some pepper. And then, so you just get like a little bit of acid, a little bit of seafoody flavor, and then some crunch and the fresh from the radish.
Fantastic.
Nice.
I love this.
Beautiful presentation.
Great. Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Now, where do we want to go from here? Because we have a couple of things we can go to. We can go to the next course, or we can go to the drink that you have an offer right here. Please go ahead, sir.
So either the drink or the one with the shrimp, either one of those works too.
Let's get a little drink in here because you know what? What's a Pirates of the Caribbean meal without a little drink, right?
Exactly.
Please go ahead and talk about this.
Whoa.
This is my We Wants the Redhead. Exactly like Lou said, We Wants the Redhead.
Fantastic.
So this is watermelon and orange with a little bit of lime and a little splash of rum if you want. And then what ideally you want to do is take the cotton candy and mix it into your drink, and it's an interactive experience as well.
Yeah.
And it's fun because it's like walking the plank. It dissipates right away. So it's got all the little narratives in there.
Oh, I love this. This is fantastic right here. Oh man, so good.
You're killing me, Smalls.
We definitely wants the redhead. There's no question about that. Oh, that's so good. Now we have, I believe this is the next course. Is that right?
Yes, so this one isn't per se themed to the ride, but more to the actual Caribbean. So what I did here was these are salt roasted shrimp. And so you get salt blazing hot in the hottest oven that you possibly can, and then you layer them with the shell on, and you cook them in the salt so that it seasons it and cooks it at the same time. And this is a play on shrimp and grits. So instead of normal grits, I made these out of yuca. Since yuca is such a very heavily Caribbean-inspired ingredient, I made the grits and I grated them down and I dried them out in the oven, and then I mixed them with cream and cheese and chicken stock and made them taste nice and salty and creamy. And then the cabbage next to it is actually a Caribbean dish called callaloo, which is actually very popular in the Caribbean. It's like a leafy green that you cook down in coconut milk. And so there's a little bit of like savory, and then the coconut gives you a little bit of sweet, and then you also got like the shrimp, which is salty, but then shrimp itself is also naturally sweet on its own. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of something that was more Caribbean than Pirates of the Caribbean as a course as well.
I love how it's produce friendly now with, with the current issues going on with some
I know
not
yeah,
good food
especially
there.
yeah.
It's perfect.
Just don't get your lettuce at Taco Bell and you'll be good.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. But I go to Taco Bell twice a day.
Oh,
You're going to be time to go on a diet because all this looks really good. I just want to eat everything now.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wait until you see the
I'm glad
entree.
that you guys are impressed by it. I was sweating. I was stressing.
No, this
Great
looks
job.
phenomenal. I love how thoughtful it is, and I love how you keep on like, okay, it's Parts of the Caribbean thing. It's Pirates of the Caribbean thing. We really have to lean into that. I think you just did a phenomenal job. Now this entree, though, I've been staring at it this entire time. You gotta tell me about this because this looks amazing.
No, you didn't. Chocolate.
So this one is my don't be chicken. It's not chicken. It's oxtail. And
chocolate. It looks like a dessert.
It's a jerk braised oxtail with some peas and rice or beans and rice, which are also cooked in a little bit of coconut milk and some spices. And then to kind of balance that out and round it all out, I added a parsnip puree because I can't find an ingredient called apio, which is similar to a celery root. But what you can do is you can do a celery root and parsnip, which kind of similar, like they simulate the flavor of this ingredient. And so that's what I did here. So the oxtail is a play on don't be cheekin'. It's not a cheek. It's not chicken. It's an oxtail. And then I wanted to also bring that Caribbean-inspired ingredient via the beans and rice as well as the parsnip puree.
I freaking love oxtail. Oh my gosh.
There is a place in town that has oxtail. Now I'm up to see if they have it on the menu tonight. I hate you right now.
No, right?
My sister crushed this plate. She was like, "This is good. This is good."
Fantastic.
She's not like one to be like, "Ooh, oxtail." Like she tried it and she was like, "This was a good one."
Oh,
Another beautiful presentation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I braised this. So I kind of marinated it in the jerk spices for a few hours, and then I seared them and braised them with some beef stock that I made, and I let them go for about 4 or 5 hours until they were about to fall off the bone. Very similar to like a short rib, but a little bit different, a little more gamier than a short rib because the oxtails have a very strong flavor.
I like it.
Man, you got a lot of people jealous in the chat right there. Well, man, yeah, man, not happy that we can't taste what's on the screen right now. It looks phenomenal, Shogi.
Okay, who's gonna make Taste-O-Vision?
Yeah, we a
Can you
feature
imagine
coming to
the
Vash.
smell while he was cooking all this?
This one was like, this was killing everybody. They were like, "How long until those are ready?" And I was like, almost.
Oh, that's awesome! And of course, we have gone over the dessert as well, right there.
Yeah,
You gotta have
the apple tart.
Gotta have a dessert. Gunchuggy, this was absolutely phenomenal.
I did that, Erica.
I was not expecting 5 courses, so this is pretty cool.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm glad. I'm
fantastic
so
stuff.
glad that you guys like it. I was really trying to give you guys something special, not only because it's the premiere, but also because I do think that your channel deserves a big launch, especially on your 10,000 subscriber celebration.
Oh, yes, absolutely it does. This video that you're actually playing right here is the clip that we're going to play for a meal of the month. I would have added it before, but there are some... Streamer doesn't take any video that you give it. There's some formatting issues that we have to address right there, but that's okay. People can take advantage of the amazing visuals, sights, and sounds as offered by Go and Shogi here for Meal of the Month. This was phenomenal. Thank you so much. I know you put a lot of work into this, so really do appreciate this.
You're very welcome. Yeah. And then also next month, stay tuned. We have another thing in the works for Meal of the Month, and it's another attraction that I think everybody is going to be very pleased with. It might be the one Ride in the Wilderness.
And paying homage to Troy Gustafson will be next month because he is the inventor and the creator and the person that super chatted the McVash meal. So if it wasn't for Troy,
he's going to have his own course.
Yes.
Troy will be getting something special for that as well.
Yes. So shout out to Troy.
So cool. That's so cool right there. Troy Gustafson. Getting in on this.
That's called sampling. Like, give me that extra lettuce with that, please. Are you sure? You're like, absolutely.
You break it up between 5 people. Okay,
let's see. Extra bag of lettuce while you're at it. I just want to really just try my chances at this.
New weight loss diet.
There you go.
Oh man, this is
going Shogi. This was an awesome celebration feast.
Oh,
I can honestly say, Shogi, you did outstanding work, but I do not think I lose weight eating that food.
Yeah, no. I definitely did not lose any weight testing this food. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I will say this morning I made the apple tart and we poured the rum on top. And I looked at my sister and I was just like, "Are you ready to get stewed on apple tart at 7 in the morning?"
It's a good breakfast, really.
Yeah. Breakfast of champions. Where's the rum?
There you go.
Linda, if you're listening, Shogi says it's okay. I could have rum in the morning.
That's doctor's orders.
That's what Pirates did, and they got a whole ride named after him, so it can't be that bad.
No. Can't be that bad, no.
Bob, did you have to go? I wanted to make sure we feature you before you leave.
Yeah, I do need to take off. Unfortunately, I got a busy day ahead of me.
Okay. We got your link in the chat?
At all.
Yes.
I believe we've got your link right here, and is this the page that's still good there, Bob? I want to go ahead and make sure we represent the right one.
Yeah, so that's it right there. So I'm doing the chalk walk, everyone, and I'm going to try to hit a lofty goal by this Friday of hitting 10,000. We're already up to 5,646, but I'm doing what we're calling missions for miracles. It's going to be my stream tonight at Disneyland. It's going to be from this evening till closing, and I'm going to be doing another one on Friday during the 71st anniversary of Disneyland. And then I'm probably going to do a little bit more on Sunday, but we are going to do some really cool things tonight. I'm going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be just trying to raise money for a great cause. And it's something my dad truly believed in. And unfortunately, he passed away back in March. That's him with the guitar and in that picture there. So on behalf of my dad, I'm trying to raise money for something he truly believed in, and I truly believe in raising money for children and their families, and for a great hospital that not only Walter Knott, but Walt Disney both put together. Children's Hospital of Orange County is something they actually created and still lives on today. So if you guys would help join me tonight, I'd really appreciate it on my live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. Basically, if you donate $10, you put me on a mission for Smuggler's Run. And if you do any other donation, and did I just click off it? Did I just click off it? Hold on 1 second. Let me bring it up here real quick, and I'll tell you what else we're doing, which is, I think, really, really cool. So we are doing, if anyone donates $25, that's going to put me on any attraction they choose. If they donate $50, they will get to choose the next mission, and I'll do a live dedication to them during the live stream. If they donate $100 tonight, their ride is top priority, and I go on that next. They also get a dedication from me, and it's a personal dedication, by the way. If anyone donates $250, they are a mission commander, and they get to choose two top priority rides and a dedication from me. And also they'll be given a post on Instagram and YouTube for doing their donation. And then if they donate $500 or more, they are a Miracle Match captain. I will match a $500 donation. If anyone else donates $500, I'll match another $100, so $600 of my own money. They also will get to choose the last ride of the night. And if more than one person donates, then I will do multiple, end of the night rides over several streams to complete those. And of course, they will also get a special recognition on Instagram and YouTube. And they will get a special Berry Place 28 package mailed to them. It's a gift from me to them for donating so much money. So we're going to try to see what we can do to raise some money for Missions of Miracles for the Children's Hospital of Orange County. So I hope you guys will come join me. Also, don't forget to check out me and Theme Park Casual in Corning, California. We have our own channel called the Park Streamers Hangout. This is our Park Streamers Chalk Walk team that we're raising money with, obviously. And then come check out Berry Place 28. We're memories and a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Bob's going live later this evening right here. Definitely check him out. And now you know what you can actually receive if you actually donate to, I think, what is a worthy cause right there. Park Streamers Hangout as well available. Theme Park Casual recording in California. Come on. It's fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Bob. Really do appreciate you coming on and taking the time to celebrate with us. Seriously, you've been a tremendous part of our success here. And I just want to go ahead and thank you personally, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, Vash, congratulations again on 10,000 subscribers. That's amazing. Go and show you. Always great to see you. And Tom, Vixen Sky, and Erica and Jared. It was a pleasure working with you today on the podcast and meeting you as well. So, and MJ, almost forgot MJ down there. MJ, she's got no picture. That's why I'm like, oh, MJ's down there.
It's okay. I'm just, don't pay attention to the crazy person behind the curtain.
No problem. Well, you'll be happy to know I got you set up for Nightbot though, MJ. So
I'm all over the place trying to make sure everything goes smooth today. But we love you, Bob, and we are here to support each other. And this is fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on, and congratulations again, Vash. And we'll see you guys real soon.
Bye-bye. It was a pleasure to see you, Bob.
I love Bob. He is awesome. But Erica, I know you've got quite a bit going on at your YouTube channel right here at Hanging with Erica and Raph. Obviously, you had a little bit of a scheduling change ever since moving back to these lovely states right here. Please go ahead, tell everybody where they can find you if they're not already watching you on your channel, streaming this one right here. Please go ahead, Erica. The floor is yours.
So our channel is Hanging with Erica and Raph, which if you do not know who we are, that is myself and my husband. We started our channel in Germany. We've started with vlogging and now we've kind of migrated to just streaming once a week, Fridays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I still have to get used to that. Not on German time anymore. We just moved back to the States, about 2 months ago. And we're still adjusting, literally still getting things situated. But yeah, that's kind of the short and it's straight to the point. Yeah, short and straight to the point. It's we're still trying to figure out what to do with the channel, what direction to go in. And yeah, we had to drastically change because Raph does work during the day. He's got a day job. He works for the Army. So we had to do a whole schedule change to Friday later in for us, it's 5 p.m. But for all of our folks in Eastern time, I know it's like 7 p.m. for you guys. But we just sit around with friends. We call the stream Brewed Banter, and the idea behind it was you bring your brew, coffee, tea, beer, and we just talk about anything and everything under the sun. There's no specific niche. It's just hanging out with friends and having a good time. So we may or may not talk theme parks. I know we just had a 6-day road trip across Texas to pick up our cars, and we had some Griswold stories that came out of that. So if you haven't seen those streams and you want to hear the crazy faux pas of this family and the luck that we have when it comes to these things, check out our stream from last week and 2 weeks ago, because it's like a part 1, part 2 series. I hate road trips.
You're perfectly fine there.
You might see why once you hear the stories. But yeah, the show we're scheduled for this Friday, and we have no clue what we're going to talk about this Friday. So it's just come and hang out.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I love Brood Banter. I think it's it's a fantastic show, and glad that you're back in the States. It's phenomenal right there. Kit Kat coming on in here with a $10. Congratulations on 10K. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate you, Kit Kat. Very much appreciate all of you who've supported this channel. Kit Kat, I know you know we spent a lot of time on Vash and Vixen, by the way, this past Saturday. You were so good at giving us your stories right there, so any support,
Yes.
hey, very much appreciated.
Yes,
Thank
we love
you
to
so
see
much
you,
for
Kit
that.
Kat.
Absolutely. Also like to see Capture the Magic. Jared, you are next up here. Where can the people find you out there on this great big beautiful web?
Who is that crazy guy in this channel? You can find me at Cap the Magic. I do usually daily videos talking about theme parks and entertainment. And then we have on Tuesdays, Theme Parking with Vash and Orange Grove 55. And I think when I get back from Missouri, I'm going to do like an afternoon stream on Fridays. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. Maybe like an end of week roundup. Because a lot of times by Tuesday and then till next Tuesday, there's been tons of stuff go on. So might be a good thing there, but we'll see on there. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And then if you do want some actual, you're looking for some tips for Disney World and Universal Studios Florida, how to have a good trip and all that stuff, you can check out CTM Podcast with my wife and I. And she's been going to the parks since she was like 2. So she's well versed in all this stuff and everything like that. But that's where you can find me and just my random banter and rants about the theme parks, good or bad. Sometimes just kind of depends.
Good, bad, or otherwise.
Yet again, congrats on 10K. And I told Vash last week he was going to hit it within a week. And I know he was underselling it. And he was like, no. And I'm like, it'll happen. So we'll say 20K in like a month. Okay. We'll give you a month.
That's so ridiculous. I don't think so.
Listen,
get to work. You got a month.
You hit it at the same time I hit 20K. We'll do a big old 20K bash on theme parking or something. And maybe we'll get OG involved in it. But no, it's awesome. And congrats on your growth. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And, contribute. Listen, the B-roll stuff is great. Vash is the B-roll master. And now I've also adopted it. So you're impacting channels all over the place, making the content better. So now I have a camera to capture even more B-roll. So that's become my side hobby.
Fantastic. And by the way,
great.
The B-roll that we've all kind of compiled because we are working in the background to kind of like organize this madness that we have right here. But because of like OG, you, Jared, some amazing footage that people now get to see, and we get to talk over. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's awesome, and that Disneyland footage, all yours, buddy, for sure. Thank you so much, Jared, for coming on and being part of this. This is really, really cool. So thank you. Let's do something on the theme park, and if I do get some more milestones, but for right now, I am happy where I am at. Tom, obviously music maestro, music extraordinaire. If you love that tune at the intro of the Vash Sky Parkcast program right here, it's all thanks because of Tom. He is absolutely phenomenal. Please go ahead. What can we? What are you doing on TJ McNafee and other places?
Well, on TJ McNafee, I have a couple of little things going on. Still going to do rocket launches. I've been kind of slacking on them because, my schedule and them have not aligned. Released a couple little videos on the Tom F channel about the Pirate's Cove, which is a song. It's called "A Pirate Says What," or "A Pirate Did What." And I also released a new sub channel called Park Magnitude, which is all songs based from the view of dogs or other animals. I just released a video and song called "The Corporate Squirrels," which are my dog's backyard nemesis. But it also has underlying tones at, let's just say corporate America. So, yeah.
There's some underlying tones there for sure.
Check it out. If you can't understand it, turn on the closed captions. They are supposed to sing like squirrels. I did have a co-person help me on that. And she sings greatly in it, and the rest of it is squirrel banter, and it's kind of hilarious. So, and I got more coming.
Stuff. Thank you so much, Tom.
And thank you, Vash, and congrats.
Absolutely. We'll have to feature more of your music in the future. I know we're working on something for a permanent for Vash and Vixen, so we're developing it still. Fantastic stuff. And Dude Man Cuz coming in here with the $9.99. Congrats, Vash. Thank you so much, Dude Man Cuz. Very much appreciate you. I've been meaning to thank you even more wholeheartedly because you donated so many gifted memberships last time. We were so caught up in the moment. It was so crazy. I want to make sure that you're a big part of our success right here. So thank you so much for supporting and for donating and doing everything that you're doing right here. Hey, the nice comments, lovely as well. Thank you so much, Two Man Cuz, for all of that. Go, Shogi. Do we have a channel that you want to go ahead and spotlight right now? Do we have a link for that? I don't want to leave you out.
Sure. So I have a fairly new channel. I just started it, but I'm going to have some content coming up for it soon. It's called Cabbages and Kings, based off of the Alice in Wonderland Walrus and the Carpenter poem. I'm going to have basically Disney and theme park inspired food and content, similar to what I've brought to you for Meals of the Month and similar. I'm going to start with Small World. I think I'm going to do the countries that you come across in order. I want to do a meal or a dish from each of those countries and then go through the ride and show how to cook it with video this time. I'll have video this time. I'll figure it out.
That's cool. That's awesome. Oh man, I can't wait for that. Going Shogi, cooking up some amazing stuff right here. Definitely check out Cabbages and Kings. I love the channel name. I think it's phenomenal. Awesome stuff. And thank you so much for this Meal of the Month. It was really good.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present it to you guys.
Absolutely. No question about that, good sir. We have, I think, Juliet coming in here with the £2 sterling. Like, subscribe, share. I do agree with you. Definitely like and subscribe. And hey, if you can, become a member because we have some fantastic content with Vixen and I every single Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Vash and Vixen. Vixen, what can you tell us? What can you tell us about the show and maybe Pet of the Week, if you could?
Yes, we have a great show lined up for Saturday. We're going to do part 2, correct, of our Salute to America through all the Disney theme parks, and I also have some very unusual presidential pets for our Pet of the Week, like a one-legged chicken.
Oh no.
It is really interesting.
Did Lauren leave the room? Is Lauren still there? You just might have got him excited.
It's all about presidential pets because, well, obviously it is for members right there. Usually you'd be able to see this, but of course this is members only content. So definitely become a member today. I mean, I had a lot phenomenal success with the first Salute to America right there, going over
we did.
Stuff like Hall of Presidents and Lincoln. I think it was really cool. This time, American Adventure, Disney's America over there in Virginia, and a whole lot more. So you definitely want to check out the program for that. And also, too, we do have Pet of the Week as well, which you can go ahead and submit at vixensky@007@gmail.com. That email right there. And include photos, pictures of your pets, maybe of you.
Yes.
With those videos, stories, all that. vixensky007@gmail.com. All right. And we do have, last but certainly not least, we have Magical MJ as well. She is producer extraordinary. There's been a lot to produce here on this show, so she's been doing a really good job with that. Please go ahead, MJ. Where can people find you out there?
Yeah, I'm on X and Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel, and I've been trying to post on my community part of it to let everyone know where I'm going to be featured on as a guest. But I have some projects that I'm working on, and helping others chug along, and it's been great. Congratulations, Vash, on 10K. It's been a wonderful show.
It has been indeed made possible only because of you guys both on the panel and obviously to you watching right there. Phenomenal stuff. I do think we are going to do a show tomorrow. I was saying, maybe not. I do think we are because there are some news stories that I'd like to get to. So I do think we have a program's worth there. Obviously, we'll pick up D23 News and Productions on that show. So tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern is where you can expect that. Regular scheduled our programming. And also to Vash and Vixen, as you've heard now today.
Yes.
So, lastly, thank you, Shogi, Tom. Vixen, Erica, Jared, MJ, thank you so much for making this whole thing possible. Without you guys, I don't think I'd be anywhere half close to 10K. They love you. Everybody loves you. You made this possible. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for watching. All right. I think that just about concludes our show. So let's go ahead and get out of here and get on over to Ron's amazing channel right there. Starting a little bit late. Sorry about that. Had overlap there, but big celebration. A lot of people recognize. Thank you. And remember, folks, the sky is the limit.